Yellow. I thought I'd throw a video up about government spending. Now, in my country, there's a lot of debate about government spending as a negative effect. It has a negative effect on the economy. Um, so the more the government spends, the more damage is done to the private sector and the rest of the economy, preventing it, causing a stagnation, preventing growth, and preventing economic recovery. And what's often cited is, it is kind of a fact. New Deal policies under FDR, well, definitely making life better for the American people, did in fact not bring us out of the recession. World War II brought us out of the recession. Now, conservatives like to cite that and say, well, see, government spending doesn't work. It didn't help us. FDR's policies did not bring us out of the recession. What they seem to overlook is World War II was nothing more than a gigantic government expenditure. It's huge. So, I mean, the real lesson here is not that government expenditures don't work, is that when you do it, you need to do it in like a lot. You need to spend a lot more than what you plan on. FDR and the New Deal, like, really was a very moderate expenditures in comparison to World War II. And that's mostly because FDR believed in a balanced budget, just like Hoover did. He just happened to look at people starving and saying, "Gee, we probably should try to do something about this." Which is where you get unemployment insurance, Social Security, and a hodgepodge of government regulations on the financial sector to prevent it from doing crazy shit. Which we got rid of in the 90s, which made the financial sector do crazy shit, which caused the current recession. But I digress. Anyhow, the argument that government spending harms the economy is historically just stupid. World War II is an example of just obscene government spending. Obscene. It just happens to be government spending to produce weapons of war to destroy our enemies. Basically, we're spending money to kill people. What would happen if FDR had spent the equivalent value during the early years of the New Deal to produce, more social programs and such like that, more construction throughout the country. In my state, most of the infrastructure was basically created during this era. You go around, you'll see the emblem of the CCC, the Civilian Conservation Corps, all over the place. They built just a lot of stuff. So yeah, and that helped spur more economic growth because you build a road, businesses are gonna set up on the road. That road's going to create commerce and yada yada yada, more economic growth. You build a dam. That dam's going to provide power. It's going to provide areas where you can construct housing, other businesses, and now you have power to provide to those businesses and housing, thus making it more possible for a greater expansion in that particular area's economic output. So, what did we learn from World War II and the New Deal? Conservatives like to argue that, well, government spending's bad. No, actually, we learned the opposite value from that. Government spending's good. You just got to do it right. So we need to invest in manufacturing basic necessities. At that time, it was the war. But, I mean, we can figure out other basic necessities right now. We don't necessarily have to start a global war to have an economic recovery. We can start building more infrastructure. We can start, even increasing NASA's budget would probably create more jobs. without blowing people up. So really, the solution is not, austerity measures, but an enhanced government spending on stuff that actually needs to get done, which would pull us out of this world recession. In fact, if the whole world just did these types of policies, it would have a trickle effect on the world economy. I mean, if we did it by ourselves, we could probably pull the world economy out of its current crazy recession. Now, we're not going to do it because conservatives are pretty much completely in power, and they're all about cutting everything. Cut, 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 cut. Got to cut this, got to cut that, got to cut, 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 cut. No tax increases, no tax increases. Oh, we can't allow the Bush tax cuts to expire. No. Even though that's basically why we have a giant deficit to begin with. I mean, that alone would almost completely get rid of our deficit if we just allowed those tax cuts to expire, but whatever, that's not going to happen. Anyhow, conservative arguments that government spending harm the economy are demonstrably false by history. After World War II, we came out insanely wealthy, with, by the way, more government spending on education for the vets, housing for the vets. Yeah, government housing. The government basically went in and said, you can buy this house. Here's a really, really, really cheap mortgage for you. Thanks for serving. Like, if we did stuff like that more often, we'd have a much more vibrant economy. Just saying. Just saying. All right. Bye for now.